Welcome to this channel. We are continuing the series on the 2025, and our goal is one thing: to ensure that I am not hungry in 2025. I want to be able to help others. I don't want to be one of the needy and dependent in 2025. I want to be able to help others. And so, what do I need to do? So, we're going to be looking at the case of Esau and Jacob. And this is the second thing the Lord is saying. So we want to find out what was the difference between Esau and Jacob. Why did Jacob have food and Esau did not have food? Why? Why was it Esau that was hungry and not Jacob? Because that's an important question, because that's going to help us to know how to navigate 2025. I want to show you something. Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. So the boys grew, and Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a married man dwelling in tents. You see, Esau was a hunter, skillful hunter. He could hunt very, very well. And probably that's what connected him to Ishmael, because he had to marry Ishmael's daughter. Ishmael was also a hunter. So you say, I like Uncle Ishmael. You know, Uncle Ishmael is a big hunter, so he just started relating with Uncle Ishmael and ended up marrying Uncle Ishmael's daughter. When he saw that his father did not like the Canaanite women, so he went to Uncle Ishmael, who was also a hunter like himself, and then he said, "This man will understand me," and he married his daughter. Now, I want you to look at Jacob was into livestock business. Both of them had something to do with animals. But Jacob was a keeper of animals. Esau was a hunter of animals. Now, look at those two like businessmen. If you look at both of them as businessmen, this one is in livestock business. This one is in hunting business. You could see the difference between the two. Just look at it. So Esau is like a hustler who has to go out every morning to look for animals that he was not sure of getting. Because he could waste all his bullets, all his gunpowder, and just keep shooting. Bah! You miss one. Oh, you shoot again. Bah! You miss it. You shoot this one, you miss it. And at the end of the day, you're going home without anything. When you hope to get a big giraffe, you might just end up with a squirrel. Because that's all you get. That's it. There is no guarantee. So this is a businessman who is like, you just hustle. There's no security, there's no guarantee, there's just nothing. This Esau's case is even worse than a salary earner. I mean, you are not sure of anything. Every day you get out, enter into the bush, you may even sleep in the bush. Spend all night in the bush, because that's when animals are freer to move about, and you spend all night hoping you could still come back empty-handed. But we're told that he was a skillful hunter, meaning, yeah, he was a little successful at hunting, but he was a hunter all the same. So in Esau's business, there is no security, there is no guarantee that how things are going to turn out. So maybe one of these days that he came back and was hungry was one of those bad days that, he just entered the bush and did all he could and nothing followed him home. And that happens to some who really work. You do all your best. You have a skill. You look out for business, and nothing just came in. Nothing came in the first month. Nothing came in, since the year began. You have not done any serious thing, because that's the nature of your business. That's the nature of it. Maybe at some time, you will hit something and plenty money will come in, but The nature of the work you do is that there is just no guarantee. I'm not sure of anything. I'm not sure of anything. I might get a contract. I might not get. I might put in applications and nothing is going to come. And so that is the Esau case. The kind of job that Esau was making did not leave him with any solid promise. You can't be sure of anything. I pray that as you go into this in the year 2025, you're going to come into a place where you are sure. Jacob was sure. He had a sure business. He had a sure business. And anything that Esau hunted, as soon as he got home, either you sell it or you eat it. You eat it and then you have to go again. You just have to go again. Because it's just like you get, you eat, or you get, you sell, and then you have to go again. So there is no rest. There was no rest for Esau. He had to keep hunting, because any time he did not hunt, there will be no food. There will be no food. Esau did not start a business, a farm where he could bring in a giraffe, a female and a male, and get them to reproduce for him. There was nothing like that. So whatever he was doing, there was no multiplication, because every animal he brought home was dead. It couldn't reproduce. It couldn't do anything. So my prayer for you is that you would have Jacob mindset. Jacob would get just 2 animals, a sheep, male and female, a goat, male and female. While he's sleeping, the animals are multiplying. He doesn't have to look for them. They're there. He just needs to make sure that they have food. And so they're just there. So what's the difference between Esau and Jacob? What's the difference? Esau invested his time, energy, and resources in a venture that could not reproduce for him. Couldn't reproduce. He had to keep laboring. And there is no assurance that you're going to succeed today. It's just like that. It's much like a gamble. It's much like gambling. Let's try today. Maybe we're going to catch something. Maybe, like fishermen. Peter, Jesus said, did you catch anything? He said, we have toiled all night and we caught nothing. We caught nothing. But that's not like that. Jesus, at the end in the book of John, Jesus had to send him, well, I want you to feed my flock. Because the job of the shepherd is like, you just get the animals, they reproduce by themselves. So if you buy 2 today, after a while, you could have 4, 6, just like that. The animals are multiplying on themselves. You are not like Esau that had to enter bush to go and get a new one, and all that. And you may get today, even if you catch them live, you may all be male. And, just like that. But Jacob's kind of business was so that he could reproduce for him. It could reproduce for him. So Esau represents those who must hustle to eat. Yes, there's a time when we have to be there, but that's not, God is teaching us that in 2025, there could be a better way of living. You could adopt the Jacob lifestyle of living. Jacob is an investor, a businessman that has something generating income for him. He had something that was producing for him. So this is what the Lord is saying to us in this season. As you invest in reproducers, invest in things, invest in money makers, invest in things that could, give you returns. Be a producer and not just a consumer. I pray for you that as we get into this year, the Lord will give you wisdom, help you to have the Jacob mindset, because Jacob had food, Esau did not have food. I pray that in the season that is ahead of us, whatever wisdom, I'd like you to take some time and read this and think about Jacob and think about Esau. One was hungry, one was not. One had scarcity, one was in plenty. Did you know that when it was time to bless Esau, you know that Jacob did not have to run up and down to go and look for what he would cook. He was available. He was available. But by the time Esau went to the bush to look for an animal, Jacob had received the blessing and gone his way. Because he didn't have anything, he had to walk his time. But Jacob just overheard it and quickly just collected what is available, what he had at home, and made this wonderful food. And so Esau did not know, Isaac did not know the difference. He cooked because it was available. I pray that the Lord will bless you, that in 2025 you will not have to run up and down without assurance, without guarantee. The Lord will help you within these 6 months to take steps that will ensure that you have. When others lack and others are in need, you will be like Jacob. They will look in your direction and say, I'm hungry, give me to eat. I pray that the Lord will bless you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Yes, and you see the same thing, between Nabal and David. David and his men didn't have. Nabal had. Let me read their story to you. In 1 Samuel chapter 25, we're told that, about Nabal, how the man was well-to-do, the man had everything working for him, but David and his men, did not have. What was their work? They were like freedom fighters. They were security men. David and his men were just like, some will look at them as terrorists, as bandits, but they were just a band of armed people, trying to build up themselves in hope that someday the throne of Israel is going to become vacant and David will fill it. So David was just building an army. And sometimes people could invite them to help and all that. But so David and his men were not producers. Nabal had a business. He had something working for him. The Bible said that he had livestock. He had livestock. In 1 Samuel chapter 25. It's a very interesting story. In 1 Samuel chapter 25. He said, now, verse 2, now there was a man of Maon whose business was in Carmel. See, that was business. And the man was very rich. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And he was sharing his sheep in Carmel. The name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail. And she was a woman of good understanding and beautiful in appearance, but the man was harsh and evil in his doings. He was of the house of Caleb. Now, so this man was a businessman. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He had something, he had business going for him. So, and these animals were reproducing for him. So, in 5 years, the things will multiply. In 1 year, they give birth. So many animals just come. All he was there. And so the man has come into rest because the animals were now multiplying and producing for him. But David and his men have to raid and get something to eat. If there is war, they raid. They had no farm. They had nothing. So that's the reason. That's what we see here. They had no business. They had nothing producing for them. Maybe if David and his people had hired themselves out and said, well, Nabal, we are here. You need to pay us something so we can take care of your farm for you. We will give you security and you just, pay us a token, while we're here. You just pay us something while we're here. Maybe they could have got some pay from him. But this man, they just went to him and said, well, we've been working for you. We've been helping you. And the man didn't even know that they were working for him. They didn't know, and the people did not make it clear that we are helping you. So they didn't get any pay for what they were doing. And so when they now needed help, the man said, who are you? Give you food for what? Who are you? Why should I give you food? I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to give you anything. That was not nice of him, but that's just the difference between the two. So you see what you have in Esau and Jacob, you also have between David and his men and Nabal. Jacob was a producer. He was an investor. He invested in things producing for him. Nabal was also an investor. He had a farm that where his animals were producing for him and making money. Today he gets this one, he kills it, he makes party, he has a party, or he gets one some, he sells them, and money will come so he could buy what he wanted. But David and his men had nothing, no business. They were just a band of people, no farm, no business, nothing to sell. They were just, if they have money, they buy. If they don't have money, they beg. So that's it. I pray again that in 2025 you would have Nabal mindset. Invest in one thing, in something that produces for you, and not just be a consumer or look to others, the rich, family members, or whoever to produce for you. The Lord bless you. Amen.